it from the beginning. I want people to participate in democracy. I would love to see record voter turnout, which seems like we're headed towards. There is so many things to talk about this morning, but again, it is the final countdown. And just watching the video from Europe, that band they were the pinnacle of hair bands. I mean, let's be real. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you. You know the drill. Let's get out of the FYP. So tapping is clapping and sharing is caring. Please consider contributing to our gifting goal today. Please consider subscribing. And please consider joining our team by just clicking that heart. Every time you come back to the live, if you could just do that, that again provides the algorithm a little bit of activity to say, hey, there's something going on here. And we, of course, know that there is something going on here for sure. If you head on over to the link tree that is in my bio, while you're over there, if you'd like to support the channel, you'll see my pay apps there. Always appreciated, never expected. I would also like to ask you to join our Discord. You'll find that link in the link tree as well. That's where the action happens. That's where a lot of action happens. You'll find a few other really, really cool links over there, including the Sunflower Project, which has been organized by our friend Tom at Dagger Custom Apparel. It's in support of the largest orphanage in the Ukraine. Check out the amazing T-shirts and all the activity around that great cause. You'll find that over there. There's also merch in the Facts merch store if you guys would like to check that out. And a benefit if you subscribe. If you subscribe to our channel here, you're enrolled into our subscribers only channel, which is in the Discord, and then you'll get a 10% off discount. By the way, we did a subscriber only last minute event over the weekend. The Apprentice movie, we did stream that for people that were in the subscribers section of our Discord. We'll probably try to do it again. It was an interesting movie, I must say. I think there's obvious reasons why the Trump team and Donald in particular did not want that movie to go public. But c'est la vie, it did. So again, you guys know the drill. There's a lot to get to between now and tomorrow. I want to remind folks of a couple of things. That starting tomorrow morning, we have a big day planned for you with election coverage from wall to wall. Starting with yours truly here at 8 a.m. We'll then hand off to our friend Danny, then our friend Dirty Dan, and then Pickles, who I think is still actually live right now. And so that guy, I don't know what he's young. That's why. He's live all the time. Anyway, that starts tomorrow morning as we'll cover. We've got a whole bunch of things planned. We'll kind of fill you in over the course of the morning as to what to expect. But there's a lot going on, friends. And I think the reality of the circumstances, there's so much energy connected to this election. And I think people are really feeling it. And, you know, we've got, I should play this. This is something that we really need to talk about.
Hey, is this heaven? No. Hey! No. It's Iowa.
Yeah, it's Iowa for sure, right? So the reality, I don't want you to do that, right? But thank you though. The grounds. Right, because what we're starting to see from the anger, the vitriol, the absolute rage that they're experiencing on the right now, I think tells us a lot about the state of the campaign. I saw some reporting from NBC over the weekend. This was polling swing state voters who had said they'd already voted. Okay, 61% voters in Michigan say they cast their vote for Kamala Harris compared to 35% for Trump. 60% in Wisconsin for Harris compared to 38% for Trump. 57% in Pennsylvania for Harris compared to 40% from Trump. So these are all indicators that the electorate is moving. You know, as we look at the national vote totals, which is what we've been tracking this from the very beginning. So nationally, we still see women just completely dominating the electorate. They're showing up at amazing rates. 54% of all votes cast so far, of the 70 million votes that have been cast, which, by the way, is almost 60% of the total votes cast in 2020. 54% have been cast by women compared to 44% by men. So that's a 10% swing. And we know that the overwhelming majority, first of all, the population, there are more women in our country than men, and they are speaking up for sure in this election. So I think that's a pretty good indicator. So we have a couple of guests. We might as well do that first. And then we'll get back to our conversation this morning. Good morning, Michael. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Have you voted?
No, I'm voting tomorrow.
Who are you voting for?
Harris.
Excellent. So, what will MAGA do when Trump loses?
Well, I don't know what they will do, but I think right now, I don't know how your For You page looks like, but it seems to me that they've been getting into their Bible psychosis lives and trying to spread that around, trying to pray for an outcome that is really not in their favor.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I've seen a lot of that. Yeah, my for you over the last few days has been really interesting, and it's funny because as you guys know, I go to right wing spaces, so you don't have to. You're welcome, but they won't let me in. I come in on my backup. I tried to change the my avatar at one point, and they wouldn't let me up. So, and when I get in and I start to talk, I try to change my voice. They kick me. So this is where they're at. They're really up in their feelings because this is what happens when you support someone who's a fascist, sexual assaulting convict.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I think they're going to try and go the legal route. I mean, as far as the courts are concerned, and they'll try to take it to the House, like Trump and Mike Johnson said their dirty little secret is.
yeah. But that's not relevant because the new House would be sworn in prior to the certification. So in our system of
Oh,
government,
okay.
the House of Representatives gets sworn in on January 3rd, prior to certification day, which is on the 6th. And I'm going to make a prediction here in just a few minutes about how I think the House and Senate's going to go. So that's
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's it. So that's again, that's more noise that we're hearing from his. Again, think of it this way: if you could win an election based on policy, then you'd want to run on policy. But it's voter suppression, it's lies, it's deceit. Elections are about contrast, as we talk about. Think about the closing arguments from Kamala Harris last week, talking about unity, talking about propping up the middle class, defending rights, looking forward, progress, and Donald Trump wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad and
Yeah.
is performing various acts on microphones, things like that. So
Stark
um,
differences.
I know,
Thank you
but
for having me.
you got it, Michael. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Real quick, I want to talk about Iowa before we sort of shift off this and go to other things.
Thank you
But
for having me.
you got it, Michael. Have a good day.
You too.
Iowa before we sort of shift off this and go to other things. Polling moves the electorate quite well. So I think what the actual shock was is the swing from just to fix it up. So the early vote sort of backs it up. So if we go, and I have another wild card that I'm going to talk to you guys about in just a minute. You go to the state of Iowa. So far, 44.1% of the total votes counted have been counted so far. 44% of the 2020 total. 588,000 votes. Okay? 55% have been cast by women. And what they're seeing, actually, I'll just play the sound because I think it's telling. If I can find this, I think it's right here. I'll just let the author of the piece tell you what they're seeing in the state of Iowa. This person's name is. I'll find it in a second.
First time that we've had Kamala Harris in the lead. So that by itself was a shock. We polled in September
And because we know about it, let's stop pussy for time again. So what's I think that there's a lot that goes on. We don't see everything that happens behind the scenes from a security perspective, from a Department of Justice perspective, from a national security perspective. I do not disagree about Trump selling us out. I'm not convinced it hasn't happened already. But when he loses this election, he will be set. In my estimation, I think it's the 26th of November. He's going to get sentenced to prison.
Yeah.
Now, I think there'll be appeals, and it would be a long time for something like that to happen. But I think his conviction and his sentencing will be prison time.
And then the January 6th case will happen. And he'll get convicted of that as well in trial. And he'll get convicted and sentenced again. So what you're seeing is literally the end of a man's freedom, pinnacle of power. And he is flailing. And he's going to take as much down with him as he possibly can. Also scary.
Yeah, it's just hard to put your finger on, like, and I'm talking to you. So I'm obviously vote for Kamala Harris. It's the only sensible decision, like that type of thing. It's just kind of like I always think realistically, and it's one of those things where it's like,
Yeah, there's only. Let's not give him credit. There's only so much that he can do other than his mouth.
right.
That's power.
So anyway,
Thank you,
have a
brother.
great day. I very much appreciate all the effort you've put into this election cycle.
They can't win elections fairly and squarely. They have to cheat, and that's unfortunate.
2020, dad's only sister, my grandparents' only daughter died of COVID, unalive due to COVID. Sorry, my bad. And just watching how he would talk about COVID, like, oh, it's just the flu. It's not just the flu. My aunts had the flu and nothing happened. My aunts had a cold, nothing happened. She gets
Tony,
COVID.
let's try to focus our point here. So I get the history. So now we're here,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
what's your message to people at this point as we're 24 hours away? Less.
To the people is do your research. Don't just listen to what people say. Don't just take the news clips. Look around, but also do the research. You're called the facts. You can't just blame something without actually having evidence of it. And this, because you're voting for somebody who is against everything you're saying you're voting for, human rights, your Second Amendment, who again, you're hurting American citizens. I'm voting for my sisters, my mother, my partner, and I'm not willing to risk their lives just so I have a little bit more money in my pocket.
Hearts in the chat for Tony. That's it, brother. That's the difference. You're voting for other people. I feel the same way, bro. Thanks for jumping in this morning. I appreciate you very much.
No problem. Voted blue in Texas.
See you later, brother. That's the reality, right, you guys? Tapping and sharing. Again, we need to get up the FYP. Thank you. Have you voted already?
I did. I voted on the very first day of voting in Georgia, and I voted for Harris. Straight Democrat.
First time you've ever voted straight Democrat, or is it first time you've ever voted for a Democrat in general?
I had voted for previous Democrats or that we have in Georgia. But she's the first Democrat I've ever voted for president.
Wow.
I always voted Republican before Trump raced.
Yep.
After this election's over. I mean, I feel really good that she's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know so many people that are Republican, absolutely nothing in the other direction. Like, there's nobody who voted for, I would say, Biden or Obama, and then they're now about it. But the thing is I've pretty much lost my family to MAGA now. They are sick, and I was like, oh, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And a really good friend of mine that I've had for 35 years, last-ditch effort this weekend, and showing him the Liz Cheney video. And he's like, you don't understand what he's trying to say there.
You need to pay attention to what he's trying to say. And I'm like, all right, dude,
you're in a cult. When you figure it out, I'm not going to be done.
No, you're right, Corey. We see that. We talk about that a lot. Like, it's not on you. Let them think what they want. Right?
Yeah.
Because history will remember MAGA hats and their pterodactyl T-shirts up in the attic somewhere, and their grandchildren find it someday, and they come down and they ask, "Mom."
Oh yeah, it's it's tough because like my brother is just gone off the deep end, and that he thinks there's going to be money in the future. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's And we,
It's rough today.
right,
Got a lot of folks that are requesting, but thanks for being here, brother.
no problem. Thank you.
Thanks for participating in democracy. I appreciate you very much.
All right, no problem.
See you later. More and more and more. I think it's great, right? Let your family shun you. You're on the right side of this whole thing. It's their reality. It's their come to Jesus moments that are necessary.
No,
Milky,
I heard it wasn't as good as the original.
okay. I think that it might have been a private conversation, which is all right. 2 subscribers away from our subscriber goal. Thank you all very much. Del Rey, how are you today? Del Rey going once. Del Rey going twice. Del Rey decided to leave. Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
I just
voted
want.
already.
Yes, sir. I have. I'm in Texas, and I'm seeing a lot more blue than I am seeing him. I've only seen like 1 or 2 of his signs, so I think that's a good sign for Texas. I believe she's gonna win too, and I think she even has ignoring the polls, ignoring.
I'm not ready to go there just yet, only because of the fact that now we know Texas.
And Texas and Florida have both in future elections for sure, but I'm not ready to give Texas to her just yet.
Right. Well, like I said, I'm in red. I mean, I'm in central Texas, and all I see is, and I'm in the country part, and all I'm seeing is Kamala Harris blue signs. And to me, that's a telltale thing. But I just want everybody to, I don't know what MAGA feels like we have to go with their narrative. That's my biggest thing with them is what makes you think we have to go with your narrative? Instead of the data, instead of the facts, we're supposed to go with their narrative. But I'm just encouraged, and I encourage everybody to stay on line and vote.
Well said, Mimi. Thank you for being here.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you very much. You have a good
Yes,
day.
sir. You too.
TikTok. It is our intention during these live broadcasts to only provide spread misinformation or to platform those that do. Opinions of our guests or commenters are theirs and theirs alone and do not reflect those of the. This platform is for educational purposes only. We now return you to our regularly scheduled pandemonium, already in progress.
My friend,
Good morning.
how are you feeling?
Fine. I am fine.
Mm-hmm.
The world is not on fire around me.
That's good to say. So seriously though, I'm curious about.
Hello. Hey, everybody in the chat. We have 1.4 thousand people in here. It's just
Yes,
in the
please.
chat to send a heart, send a heart me, send a gift, send anything you can, but spam the absolute love to Jess, because without Jess, my sanity for the past couple of weeks probably would be in the trash. But whatever you do, everybody send some gifts and heart and love to Jess and wish her happy. Oh, and before you drop down, do mountain altitude. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Just from we become friends in this space, and I think that
Yes,
we don't obviously you know that in our community we all have to make sure that we're taking our flowers. So you're taking your flowers right now. You are
yes.
an exceptional human being who's been through some shit in their life, who's come out of it with this unbelievable perspective on what's right for the future. So I am proud to call you a friend. I'm even prouder to vote for your rights to your body.
I appreciate
And I
that.
cannot thank you enough. So happy friggin' birthday to you, my friend.
Yay, look at me. I'm at 5,000 already. You guys are killing it. I love this community so much. You guys have literally saved my life. Like, my boyfriend talks about it on a regular basis. Like, between this community and RJ's community, I don't know if these past few weeks I would have made it, because this election is not just a regular election for us. Wow. I don't think I've gotten emotional in a while, but like, this election is not just a regular election for us. And I don't think people grasp the understanding of what could happen to women or to you, as you get older, or my daughter as a biracial child. And I don't think people understand the grasp of that. And the support that this community and the other communities that I'm in on this platform have given us as women, our voices, the voices to the BIPOC community, because I try to do this. And listen, tomorrow is a huge day. It's the future of our country for the next 4 years to 8 years, depending on who we choose. Like, what's going to happen for the next 4 to 8 years is like vital to our being. And I just hope that everybody does their research before they go out there and vote, and then they realize that they're not just voting for themselves. So I'm anxious about it, and I'm nervous. I have faith, but that still doesn't negate the fact that I'm very nervous, because his people are so unhinged. Who knows what the fuck could happen? We've already seen an uprising on January 6th, and I'm just afraid, of these people. I'm afraid of these people. And I'm more afraid of the quiet ones who haven't said how they really feel yet.
Yeah, I think that those are legitimate. I think it's okay to be optimistic. It's okay to think positive as to what we expect the results to be. I think that's okay, but I think there's this sort of underlying fear that we all have, and rightly so. Again, no matter what happens tomorrow, as a white cis hetero male in society, nothing changes for me. I'll just move on. Nothing changes for me, with the exception of my health care potentially. But the lives of women, members of the BIPOC community, members of the LGBTQA community, the infirmed, veterans, you name it. It's those groups are always, 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 always under threat. And
And
a
I
reminder,
and I
it's
beg
still
to differ.
we're still there. We still have to vote. Make sure people are still going to the polls. Make sure
Yeah.
you're still, if you haven't yet, why not? Go to your polling location. Bring somebody with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I interrupted you because I beg to differ that your life won't change. I beg to differ that you're going to be okay because you have children. You are not going to be around forever, but your children have a lot longer to live.
Fair
And
point.
what we choose, what our country chooses, could affect the rest of our lives. This isn't like a 4-year presidency. We're talking about somebody who's talking about ending democracy as a whole, being a dictator as a whole. So how do we get that back if that actually does happen? So like, your life will be affected. Every person in this country's life will be affected. So
point.
I beg to differ with that. That's why I appreciate everything that you're doing.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, real quick mod announcement. For those of you who are not in our Discord, I suggest jumping in our Discord. We have Mim, who is Dirty Dan's head mod, did an amazing job on these bingo cards for us for tomorrow. We are going to have bingo going on all day. We have creator only bingo, so there will be specific ones for the creators, and then we will have like an all around day one. So if you're with all 4 creators, you can also win the big bingo. The prize is going to be amazing. It's really awesome. We're going to be announcing it in our Discord, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I will be announcing that later. And while you guys are here, there is 1.3K. There is 13. I'm not going to be able to say that for much longer. So there's 13,000 people in here, and we're at
1,300 people. I wish there were 13,000 people.
No, there's 13,000. What are you saying?
Okay.
I gotta say it wrong. There's 1,300 people in here, and we're at 131,000 likes. We could be at like 200 to 250,000 by now. If you guys just tap the screen, fill out the bar a few times, that'd be amazing. There's a heart me right next to Fact's name. If you could just send that, it's 1 coin. That would be great. It'll get us on the For You page. And if you could just share out the page, get in our Discord, and get out tomorrow and vote and do your research before you do, because it's extremely vital. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Happy birthday, Jess. Thanks for
Thank you.
All right. Let's bring up some friends and foes. And again, if you're opposition, if you are a Trump voter, I think people are asking again to see the schedule for tomorrow. I'll be happy to share that with you guys. So again, tomorrow we are doing a wall-to-wall coverage of Election Day. I'm going to start here with yours truly at 8 a.m. We'll go our regular time frame, and then Danny at 12, Dirty Dan at 4, and then Pickles. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then Pickles from 8 p.m. until past midnight. And our plan is that we're going to be bouncing back and forth between each other's lives. You know, you guys have always been very kind to me in particular and said that you choose us to start your day with based on news. And I take that very seriously. And I know these creators do as well. So we're going to be here to provide you as much news as possible. The fact that I know Pickles doesn't sleep. The fact that we all kind of approach our shows the same way with bring your receipts, I think will be a win for all of us. So again, that's tomorrow. Starting at 8 a.m. Eastern time, Election Day. Are we making history tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen? I think we are. I think we're making history tomorrow. But thank you all for being here very, very much. So that'll be tomorrow's event. And as Jess just mentioned, there's going to be bingo. Got to join our Discord. It's a great place to start. Just as another reminder, if you head on over to Linktree My Bio, the first link you'll see will be to this thing called the Sunflower Project, which has been created by our friend of ours, Tom at Dagger Custom Apparel. And it's an incredible cause in support of an amazing community that provides resources to the largest orphanage in Ukraine. Go to the link, check it out, read all about it, because a small donation of a shirt means a massive amount to the people that are in Ukraine supporting children who've been displaced by the unlawful and criminal and sinister invasion of Vladimir Putin and the Russian army. So, yeah, that's that. All right, let's get back at it here. Everybody, please keep tapping and sharing. Appreciate you very much. Good morning, James. How are you today?
Good, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What do you think MAGA will do when Trump loses?
I mean, I'm voting for Trump. We've had conversations already.
Is Trump a conservative, though, James?
For me, what's that?
Is Trump a conservative, though?
Am I?
No, it's Trump.
I would consider myself a conservative. Yeah.
No, but I'm asking you, is Trump a conservative? Because if you say,
yeah, I believe he has conservative values. Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk to you about.
So can you name one? Yeah. Name one for me.
I believe understand is he wants to end he wants to take care of our veterans. He wants to end homelessness and the reckless spending that has gone on that has not helped our veterans. That's just one. Okay, that's one.
Okay, let's take it one at a time. Let's take it one at a time. Okay, let's take it one at a time, James. Let's take it one at a time. He also wants to.
Can you hear me all right?
I can now. It's better now. So stay right there.
Can you hear me okay?
It's much better now.
Okay.
Yes, I can now.
Gotcha.
Yes, thank you. So he also wants to arrest people who are urban camping. And we know, which are houseless people, we know that 15 to 18% of our houseless population are veterans. So you're okay with him locking up veterans for being houseless?
I don't think he's going to lock them up. I think the point is to clean up the area that whether they're homeless or they're veterans that are
James, but that would be arrest. He wants to arrest people for being houseless.
What policy is that?
I can tell you. I can let you listen to his own words. It's in Agenda 47.
All I hear is people. They say, "Oh, I'm not nervous. Kamala's going to win. I'm not
Kamala.
nervous. And then the same, out of the corner of their mouth, they're saying, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm not going to be able to sleep." It's like, why? I'm on Wednesday morning. I'm going to go back to work. I have 3 daughters. Why are they not scared? Why are my 3 daughters not scared to go and vote for Trump? They don't
How
have
old are
that
your
same.
daughters?
They're 21, 24, and 25.
So they don't care about their rights being taken away?
Rights are going to be taken away.
Well, they
They
already
know
are,
they're not
though.
going to be.
But
They
James,
know they're not going to be taken
But
away.
James, they already are.
What do you mean they are? They already are taken away.
So what state do you live in? Can you got to stay closer to your mic, bro. You keep cutting out. Just stay closer to your mic, okay?
I live in Michigan.
Okay, you live
I'm
in
in
Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay, so Michigan is one of the states that protects women's rights to their body. But is it okay? Is it okay for women in states that do not have protections? Is it okay for women to be losing their lives? Is it okay for 65,000 women to be impregnated by their rapist and then not be allowed under the law to have an abortion? Is that okay?
If that's okay or not, but I think that the percentages, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think the percentages are so low of those actual situations happening.
65,000 women is low, James?
Out of how many abortions? How many?
65. Listen to what I said, James. Listen to what I said.
I know.
Listen. 65,000. Listen. 65,000 women have become impregnated due to grape, and they can't in states that do not provide abortion access.
What is your problem with that?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I'm saying, what is the issue with that?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a voter. That's all I can tell you. He's a voter. Leah, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Okay, a lot of things. Anyways, I'm leaving the United States regardless, okay?
Why?
Because immigration's so broken that they won't let my wife and my child here, and my child's a U.S. citizen. Okay, that's a story for another day. Okay, I want to get back to your issue that you just were talking with the guy. Is Trump a conservative? To some people, he is. Okay, so I want everybody here to listen to this. Okay, there's a difference.
Well, hang on. Let's level set us a couple. Hold on a second. Just let me know who is it that you're voting for, or did you vote already?
I haven't voted yet, but let me just put it this way: I don't like saying it, but I am not voting Trump. Okay.
Okay, you don't like saying that though. Why not?
Well,
Why would you be embarrassed about not?
I like to choose my own independence for who I vote for. Okay, it's just my right to privacy. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
It's my own
personal
right.
Just like women should have a right to privacy.
Right. I just like my own privacy when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay?
Just like women should have a right to privacy.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like their own medical decisions and not have the government tell them what to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, I've always said the Roe versus Wade was a wrongful decision. Okay, now me and my friends, me and you are probably about the same age, maybe I'm a little older. Anyways, he always said that the problem we have is judicial activism. Okay, because we had a Congress that wouldn't act. Congress could have changed it, done something with the abortion, made it a law, and they never did.
Well, that's not true. There was actually the reason that it wasn't necessary is because it was settled law determined by every Supreme Court justice who went through their congressional hearings. If you could watch that.
Correct.
So
but
what did the 3 justices say that were appointed by Donald Trump? What did they say when asked that question?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about back in the 70s.
What did they say when they asked that question?
I don't really know on that one. Okay,
they said it was settled law.
Oh yeah, okay. You talked about during the confirmation hearings and stuff like that.
Right,
yes.
exactly. So they said it was settled law.
Right, it was supposed to be, but they changed it. Okay, they changed their mind.
No. They said it was settled law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which means that if it's settled law, and then how ironic that the first time a case was brought in front of them as the new supermajority on the Supreme Court, they voted to take away women's rights to their body.
Exactly, and that's totally wrong. Okay,
yeah, it is.
Now here's my point of view on it. Okay, and this is why I don't understand why we didn't stand up for this right. Okay, they say that life begins at conception. Life begins.
I'm not going to have that conversation with your friend.
Oh, wait, 1 second. Okay, my point is this: is why didn't we argue that it's a religious belief? Prove to me when life begins. Prove to me. Now I watched my daughter get born.
Because our
Her
country
eyes
is
were
because
dead black.
we have separation of church and state in our country,
Correct.
and we do.
And
So
therefore,
that's the
they
reason.
should-
That's the reason we didn't bring it up. That's the reason. Okay.
Right, but shouldn't they have brought it up and said that be based upon the freedom of religion, that the courts do not stand to be able to make a law, therefore making it
it wasn't a decision. It wasn't a decision based in specifics around their religion. We can certainly know that it was influenced by that. So I guess the question is: have you voted?
I'm voting tomorrow.
Okay, you are voting tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, and then I go in on Wednesday for open heart surgery.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So no, don't be. It's a blessing. Okay, if I would have left the United States, I probably would have only lived for a year. But now I've got decades, left to be here. So and I guess you're trying to pin me to the wall. So I'm looking at the perspective of my grandchildren.
I'm not trying to pin you to the wall, Fred. I'm trying to understand what it is that you're actually saying, because to me, it seems like you're trying to make excuses for things that didn't happen as opposed to what's in front of us right now.
No, on the opposite, I believe that most of the people are really confused. Okay, let's take the word conservatism. Okay, if you're conservative, we tend to look at a person being conservative if they're against abortion, these kinds of things. More morals and values. Basically,
no, that's not true at all. That's your definition. We've fallen into the trap, because do you think Donald Trump is a conservative?
Oh, hell no. Matter of fact, the Republicans have become the most politically liberal agenda there is. Okay, because politically liberal means more government. When you want the government to control your beliefs and allow everybody else to form within those beliefs, which is abortion and the right to life and all this other crap that they're pulling. Okay, I think we got enough crap on both sides. Like I talk with my son and my daughter. I mean, it goes back. I got two of them that are cops. Okay, so I get another perspective from the Democrat side and the lack of ability to fulfill the law. Somebody goes to jail.
Lack of ability to fulfill the law.
Well, judges are not. What I'm saying is, you could steal a car here in Minneapolis, okay, and be out stealing another one tomorrow. It is just ridiculous. It is really ridiculous.
So again, friend, I don't understand. What do you stand for? Like when you go to vote?
I'm one of those people where what I want to talk about is I'm an independent, okay, and 60% of us are. Okay,
I want to know who you're voting for. Are you going to tell me if you're going to vote for, yes or no?
I'm going to vote for Harris, of course.
Okay.
And it shouldn't really matter. Okay.
It does matter.
We're supposed to be working together, and there's the problem. Why aren't we working?
Why should I work together with racists and bigots and transphobes and homophobes and people who want to take away the rights of people that I care about? Why should I work with them?
You should work with Republicans, but we have to try to figure out a way to get the Republicans.
Why should I work with Republicans? Why?
Because that's how we pass laws.
Have they passed legislation that will protect anybody but the rich and the wealthy in our country?
So this is what I'm saying is that 60%.
No, answer my question. Answer my question. Why should I?
Well, because they're Americans.
Are they? They support a man. They support a man who wanted to terminate the Constitution. Are they Americans?
Okay, now when my brother-in-law is a trumpeter, okay, and there's some people you just can't get through to. That's just all there is to it. But we still have to sit down and eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Why?
Because that's what families do.
No.
But
families
I've never seen a division like I have since Trump came along.
We can thank Trump for that.
Yes,
right.
Definitely.
So then why do I have to sit down next to somebody who will vote for a man who literally called for arresting people in our country who don't agree with him politically, or saying that the United States in general is garbage, or calling for an execution for Liz Cheney because she disagrees with him, or using every possible trope and or dog whistle, whether it be racial, ethnic, you name it? Why? Why should I sit across the table from anybody who supports that? Why is that on me to do? Why?
Well, because for one example, some of these people are just brainwashed into a cult and they need to come out of it.
Then that's on them, not on us.
And I'll be honest, I hope to God that fucking Harris just fucking wipes most of the states, because most of us are, like I'm saying, is like me, 60%. We don't, when the polls call, we don't answer the phone. We're so fucking tired of it. Okay, but you had that person from Texas on earlier saying that she's seeing all these wall signs. 50% of the voters are women, and the mass majority of them are going to vote for Harris.
It's more
So
than
right
that.
there, you got, and he lost all the Latino votes.
Well, not
Okay.
all. Again, not every
Well,
voting
see, yeah,
block is a
okay,
monolith.
all and never is things you shouldn't use, but he's lost a good majority of the women, a good majority of the Latino. I mean, you're just. I hope he landslides it because that's going to be the easiest and fastest way to get him out of the way.
I understand that, but again, keep this in mind, and I just think it's due respect. It's coming from a place of privilege to say that we should all just get along. Why? I have no interest in extending my hand to somebody who's been supporting what we've seen from Donald Trump for the past 8 years. No interest. They want to show me that they've changed their ways. They want to show me through their actions that they're going to kind of sort of revisit their decisions that they've made for the past 8 years. Then I'll have that conversation. But for just because we're Americans means that I'm the one that has to reach out and I'm the one that has to set a place for them on Thanksgiving? No.
And no, what I'm saying is okay, for example, with my sister. My sister's been a pro-Trumper, and I finally confronted her because of the immigration issue, okay, and the border wall. I'm in security. Anybody who thinks that a fucking wall is going to do anything is crazy. We put up cameras, you can put up drones, and the first thing that they come back and say is, well, we don't have the personnel to pick up the people. If you don't have the personnel to go on out there and get the people when you see them, then there's the first problem, okay? But now my wife can't come here. I said, you vote for Trump is a vote against me. I said, it's kind of like getting a divorce and a family member decides to be best friends with your ex. Okay, it's a betrayal. And that's what I told her. You're basically betraying me and my wife and my child because I have to leave this nation because it's more important for me to be with my child.
Again, but why do you feel obligated?
I'm trying to explain her mindset to you first, okay? When I confronted certain things with her, she's like, "Oh no, I mean, she has been listening to the lies so long that Hitler was right." Okay, if you listen to a lie enough,
let's not
long
use the
enough,
H word. Let's not use the H word. Okay.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that if you sit back and you listen to a lie long enough, okay, enough times, you begin to believe it. And she's believing all these.
Of course,
all
but
these lies.
again, Lee, again, that's their problem.
Yes,
not our problem.
But I'm opening her eyes. How do we open their eyes? That's my point.
There has to be a willingness. Now, there's two separate things. Hold on. There's two separate things here. For me to just be like, I mean, you know what? Election's over. Okay, MAGA, you guys can. Here's my hand. Why? If they want to reach out and say, listen, we were wrong about Trump. We've been lied to. We're hoping that we can have conversations about the future and then maybe assimilate back into a regular civil society. That's different. But just because somebody's a family member or just because somebody's a friend, the expectation without them changing that somebody at least I won't speak for everybody else, but if there's an expectation that when MAGA loses and when Trump loses tomorrow, because he will lose, that I'm just going to reach out and say, hey, let bygones be bygones. No.
No. And I can agree with you because
I'm not interested.
I'm in the security field, okay? You always have your 10%. You're going to have that 10% here. You're going to have 10% crooks and 10% who won't ever steal a thing, okay? A lot of these Trump supporters are in that 80%, okay? We cannot change the 10% that are just these radical thinkers. That's what I'm talking about. But how do we get to the people that are within that 80% that aren't, but they're Trump supporters, lightly, shall we say it? I mean, my sister's really
friend, I do this every single day. And if people are still convinced that Donald Trump is what's better for America, then it's on them. It's on them to realize that they're wrong. It's not on us. Do you understand?
Right. Yes, and I agree with that. Okay, but we're talking about, a percentage of the people that will be voting for Trump. Okay. Now, my question was more, why aren't you voting for Harris and Walz? Okay. And it's surprising because a lot of people are feeling like Harris will, this is from Trump supporters that I talked to, because I'm more liberal, I'm more even the people who are radical one way or the rest of the world. And I'm like, how?
I don't care what they think. This is my
No,
point.
I'm just
Lee.
like, no, but I mean, there is
And
some.
I do this every single day. I don't give a shit what they think.
But
I
this
don't
is
care.
where the men vote come in. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care what they think. I do not care. For
Right.
9 years, they have supported a person who literally wants people in our country to be harmed because they don't support him. I do not give a shit about what they think. I do not care. If somebody on that side wants to come to me and say I was wrong, I've been supporting him, I was misled, I was indoctrinated, then I will absolutely have that conversation with them. Until then, I'm not interested.
How can they not figure that out already?
That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. These are the radicals that I'm talking about. We can't change.
No, there's more. It's more than just the radicals. There are people who consider themselves Republicans who will still vote for Trump. So they're no different as far as I'm concerned. They're no different. If you were gonna cast a vote with 75 million Americans in 2020 that voted for Donald Trump, the number's not going to be nearly as high now. But there's 40 or 50 or 60, whatever that number is. I'm not going to excuse that just because they may not be indoctrinated fully into the cult. You're making a decision to vote for somebody who literally wants to enact policies that will harm American citizens, has disparaged every possible community there is. I am not interested. I am not interested.
And a lot of these people are in denial. They're like, oh, well, that's just the way he talks. He won't really do that. That's what a lot of the Trump supporters say. Oh, that's just him talking. That's just him showing.
Again, that's their problem, Lee.
Right.
That's their problem.
Yes, and I do agree.
That's their problem.
But how do we wake them up?
Again, you're missing my point. I'm going to move on. It's not my responsibility to wake them up. It's not.
We need a functioning government that takes on both. And here's my last point of view here. For 50
I'm sorry, but
years,
I'm done. I'm done. Frustrating. Jesus. It's not my responsibility. It's none of our responsibilities. It's on them. They've created this. They can live in it. Jesse, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Have you voted already?
No, I vote tomorrow.
Who are you voting for?
I will be voting for Trump.
All right. Can you tell me why?
Well, I do have a quick question on something you were talking with him.
Well, can you just tell me why you're voting for Trump?
Yeah, well, I mean, if simply put, the 4 years I had with Trump versus 4 years I've had with Biden, it's a no-brainer.
Well, how do you measure that?
Quality of life.
Quality of life. That's kind of hard. Is that subjective, Jesse? It's like
Well,
your
yeah,
own personal
that's-
experience, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, but can you? All right. So can you give me an example of how it was better?
I think anyone, common sense, can agree the state of the country, we were in a better position with Trump than Biden.
I don't agree.
Well, again, subjective. I am curious. Did you vote for Biden though?
I did.
Okay, so the conversation you were just having with that gentleman, so you supported a known racist. You know,
No.
Biden is hands down the most racist person in.
So
Well-
would you like to explain to me how?
You can go on YouTube and pull up an hour-long running clip of him saying the most
I'm asking you, Jesse.
derogatory.
Jesse. Jesse. Let's pump the brakes. First of all, Joe Biden is not running for the presidency.
No.
It'll
But
be
you said
Kamala Harris.
no. Your conversation
Excuse me,
with
I'm
him
not
was,
done.
I'm not
done.
going to sit down at a table
I'm
with
not
people that
done. I'm
No,
not done,
this is what
Jesse.
you
Jesse,
Democratic
I'm not
people
done.
do.
No, friend.
You said you were not going to sit down and extend your hand to someone who is a racist, but yet you supported a racist when it was convenient for you for the last 4 years.
No, the example that you gave me, you gave me a YouTube clip. Like
Well, I'm just saying, and you could pull up any clip from him from 1970 to 2004.
1970. Okay, so 50 years ago. Okay.
My point is, it's
You probably want to talk about you probably want to talk about Robert Byrd, right? Is that a place you're going to go, Jesse?
no. I was just my own person. I was just curious if you voted for Biden because
I did.
the way I see, and you know, hey, everybody's different with the social media, and so I don't know if you're trolling, if this is satire, so you get clicks and views, and these might not even
Trolling?
be your actual viewpoints, but it makes you
No,
money.
these are my viewpoints.
And I completely, that
Jesse,
is
you
one
haven't
thing. I
told me
don't
why
care
you
either
still
way.
you haven't. First of all, you haven't. I mean, again, I know you're trying to control the narrative, but it doesn't work that way because I'm better at this than you are.
I'm not see. Okay, so now we're condescending. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
control
that's fine.
anything.
I'll be condescending.
That's what makes
So
me
here's
think this is a troll. Like
well,
these aren't
no.
your actual
Here's the
viewpoints.
problem, Jesse. Here's the problem: is that you're trying to create a false equivalency to defend the fact that you're voting for Trump, who is an adjudicated sexual predator, who is a 34-time
Well,
convicted
personally, I
felon
don't care
who
if it was Trump
tried to
or
subvert
anyone else.
democracy.
I,
What?
I don't care if it's
You don't
Trump.
care that he's
I'm not a
sexually?
Trumper, MAGA.
Yeah,
I don't
you
give a
are. You're voting
shit.
for him. Yeah, you are.
Right.
You're voting for him.
Because I am more for the Republican Party than I am
You're
the
voting for
Democratic
Trump,
Party.
though.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
So you don't care that he raped a woman.
See,
Just say
this
it.
is what
Just
I'm
say
saying.
you don't care.
Okay.
Just say you don't care.
So then that would be the same thing as saying that you don't care that Biden was a racist in 2000 when you voted for him in
Again,
2020.
Biden's not running for the presidency.
No.
Jesse.
If you're going to use that as an example,
Jesse,
you
just
can't
say
have
it.
it.
Jesse,
No, see, this is what I'm talking about. You
just say it.
cannot
You don't care, Jesse.
skew
Just
it to
say
your
it.
viewpoint.
He's a 34-time convicted felon. He is an adjudicated sexual predator, and you don't care. Just say it.
And you don't care that Biden was a racist.
Joe Biden has changed his opinions numerous times over his life. The fact that he's been recognized by the ACLU, the NAACP, as someone who stood in support of BIPOC community
And as
tells
was
me all I need
Trump.
to know.
As was Trump.
What?
Trump was as
Jesse,
well.
Jesse,
No.
I noticed.
Was
here's the pivot.
Trump
Jesse,
not
just admit.
awarded an
Jesse,
NCAAP award? Yes or no?
no, it's NAACP. First of all, Jesse,
what I just said.
Just accept the fact. Just accept the fact.
Now
that
you're
you
stuttering.
don't care.
Now
that
you're
you don't
stuttering.
care. That
So
you
this
don't
is
care.
a troll.
Jesse.
So this is trolling.
Jesse, I have to mute you because you're not a big boy. Just accept the fact that you don't care that Donald Trump is an adjudicated sexual predator, and you don't care that he's a 34-time convicted felon. Just say it. Just make everybody's lives easier, and you can move on, okay? Just say it. I don't care that Donald Trump raped a woman, bragged about grabbing women by the pussy, is a 34-time convicted felon, wants to subvert democracy, talked about terminating the Constitution. Just say you don't care. Just say you don't care, Jesse. You can unmute your mic. Just say it. Just say it. Just say you don't care. Jesse, you have to unmute your microphone. Okay. We tried. He votes, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember that. He votes. Just admit it. You don't care. Just admit it. ATD, how are you today?
Yo, good. Excited for tomorrow.
Are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. Who are you voting for?
Trump.
Okay. So what's going to happen when Trump loses?
What's gonna happen? I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't think anything's gonna happen.
So MAGA got all up in their shit last time and they tried to subvert democracy. You don't think that's going to happen again?
I don't know. Do they have the right to?
Do they have a right to try to overthrow the government? No, they don't have that
No,
right.
do they have a right to freedom of speech?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So what the fuck? What's the problem?
So freedom of speech is one thing, but trying to subvert democracy is something entirely differently.
How did they try to subvert democracy?
January 6th, 2021?
Not a lot, honestly. I wasn't paying much attention, but
You don't know what happened that day?
No, I know what happened.
What happened?
That supposedly Trump supporters went into the.
Supposedly?
No, not supposedly.
That they were Trump
Well,
supporters.
I don't think it was just Trump supporters. I believe it was also Antifa and people working.
Right. Do you have any proof of that?
Do I have any proof of that?
Yeah, I thought you said you didn't pay attention, but suddenly you know that you think that it was.
Well, I wasn't paying attention on January 6th, but after a while, you accumulate videos and stuff like that.
So if they were Antifa, why would Donald Trump want to pardon them all?
Well, I don't know.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Did he pardon them all?
No, he said he would. He doesn't have
But
the
did
power
he?
now because he's not the president.
Oh.
So why think about that? Why just try to think about this logically, friend. If they were
Yeah.
Antifa, and you think Antifa were the enemy, right?
Do I think they're the enemy? In a
You
way,
think
yeah.
Antifa was the
Definitely.
opposition to Trump, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then if that were the case, then can we assume that Antifa are also in jail?
Yes.
So then why would Trump want to pardon them?
Didn't Kamala pardon
Kamala,
people from the riots?
she can't pardon, friend. She's the vice president
What do you mean she can't? How can she not?
because she's the vice president.
So she didn't? Neither
She
did Biden?
can't. She can't, friend. She's the
She
vice
can't.
president.
You don't think she has some type of pull to do whatever she wants? Like
Can you tell me the three branches of government?
judicial, legislative, and I don't know. I forget what the last one is.
Okay. You have a good day. Thank you. That person votes, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Two Slippers, how are you today? Mr. Two
Good. How are
Slippery.
you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind today?
I would just want to come on here and express my political views on why I'm voting for Trump.
Okay.
Well, first, I'd like to ask you, why are you voting for Kamala if you are?
Absolutely.
Um,
Proudly.
why would you, or why are you doing that?
I'll tell you, but you said you wanted to, again, this is sort of my space, friend. So why don't you tell me why you're voting for Trump?
Okay. And
And just all I ask is that if you make a claim, I'm just going to ask you to back it up, okay?
okay, and real quick, can I ask something real quick? It's not asking you to answer, it's just asking, like, if we can agree on something real quick.
No, you can tell me why you're voting for Trump.
All right. Well, first, my profession is I'm a cattle rancher and a landowner and just everything revolving around agriculture. And the main purpose of why I'm voting for Trump is ever since Trump was out of office, my income has suffered greatly and I've had to sell off large portions of my family's ranch that has been going for generations.
Okay, tell me what did Biden do to cause that?
If I'm being honest, and I'll be the first to admit, sorry, I dropped my phone.
Okay.
I'll be the first to admit I'm not some political genius. I actually came on here to mainly ask your views so I could maybe be enlightened on the other side, because I don't know like all the policies and stuff. I just know that life was a lot better for me when Trump was in office, and
Okay. So
I know that.
are you familiar with causation correlation?
Yes.
Okay, so the idea behind because things were a certain way, you want to give Trump credit for that. Is that fair to assume?
It's not so much that I want to give Trump credit for that. It's that I just really miss making as much money and not suffering as much as I am right now.
Okay. Um, again, but it's easy to say that. So I guess the question I'm asking you, and if you don't know the answer, just say I don't know, because when we have these conversations, it's really important because other people are listening as well. Can you point to something that Trump did to make your life better, and then conversely, what Joe Biden did to make your life worse?
No, I cannot. That's why I was coming on here
Okay.
to ask
Okay.
you to enlighten me on like what I could be more open-minded to.
Okay. So are you talking about like the cost of goods and things like that?
No, I'm talking more about lack thereof. I'm talking about just how the cattle market has gone down exponentially and how the cost of cattle has gotten much worse and it has not improved. So therefore, I just have not been able to pay off my land notes that I had
Okay.
that my family has had for 15, 20 years.
I gotcha. So I understand. I think there's a couple of things that are happening here. There's nothing you can point to in either direction, friend, that would give credit and or blame. So we can't just say it's because of. All right, getting flagged again. Everybody, please keep tapping. Everybody, F1 in the chat, hearts in the chat. Everybody, please, if you guys could at this moment, everybody join the team here. If you all could do that, like right now, and send a coin, please gift. Please send hearts. Please, whatever you can do. We are really fighting back against the algo. So the thing is, friend, the reality of the circumstance is that you're trying to create a scenario where you think things were better under Trump because they may have been in certain situations, but it's not as a result of Donald Trump. I'll remind you. So I would imagine working in your community, you probably work with a lot of farmers too, because Donald Trump had to bail out the farming industry because of this trade war that he lost with China. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be, and he wants to do more of that. So you think things are expensive now, and you think it's difficult to operate in your industry now? Imagine what it would be like if everything across the board would have a 20% tariff or higher. Okay, that's what you have to know. So if you don't know what Trump's policies are, now would you consider yourself a middle class guy?
I would consider myself upper middle class.
Make more than $400,000 a year or less than $400,000 a year?
I'd say that's very subject to change.
Okay.
Year to year, but
Okay.
around that ballpark.
Okay. So in an opportunity economy, which is kind of what Kamala Harris wants to create, people who make less than that will benefit greatly than the people above that number, because Republican policies, especially Trump's, he just wants to add tariffs and tariffs and tariffs. Do you know what a tariff is?
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm Mr. Too Slippery, nigga.
Okay. Piece of shit. We try, right? We try. We do our best. We do our best. Boomer, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
I have already voted for Kamala and Walt, so that's that. But I just wanted to come on and say real quick, the young man that you had on, Jesse, talking about Biden being racist. I don't understand where white men think that they have the wherewithal or the know-it-all to even say who's racist, because racism can only be called out by people who racism affects, and it doesn't affect them. And so I don't understand what gives them. It's just a ploy for something for them to say about the reason that they're voting for Trump, because Biden is not racist. He may have been, his ideals have changed over the last 50 years, but he's not racist. We know Trump is. He's been sued for racism. So we know in no uncertain terms that he is a racist. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I am so sick and tired of hearing them say that and using that excuse. It's ridiculous. They have no place, no way, no reason. So anyway, that's all I wanted. Thank you for everything you do, Mr. FactsStillMatter. I appreciate it.
you,
And
Boomer.
anybody who has not voted, please go vote for Kamala and Waltz. That's all.
I appreciate you very much
Thank
for being
you.
here, friend. Thank you. Have a good
Okay,
day.
bye.
Yeah, I think that I think all of us, even though that we may not be in a community that's impacted directly by racism, I think we can call it out. Quite frankly, I appreciate what you're saying, Boomer, but I think what we've seen from Donald Trump, even just recently, tells us we know everyone knows who's paying attention that Trump is in fact a racist. But yeah, let's continue to have conversations. Everybody, please continue to like and share. We're under threat, guys. Please continue the energy. Keep tapping and sharing. Would really appreciate that. If y'all could share the live out to 25 of your friends or foes and tap like crazy, appreciate you guys very much. Biggie Tall Small, you're not connecting, friend. We can try again later. Thank you. There. All right. H, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
So I just, we hear this quite a bit with the Trump racist comments, and it's so clear. I mean, you say it as a matter of fact, but there is so much evidence to support this. When you look at his first 3 years in office, when you look at his cabinet appointments and B appointments to the federal judgeship, it is glaring how much of a bias there is with him. With his women as a share of presidential appointments represented 24% under Donald Trump. So there's a clear inherent bias against women off the bat. When you look at his first 3 years pre-COVID, first 1,000 days in office, he made 153 appointments to the federal bench. 14% were non-white. 131 were white, 5 were black. So essentially what that means for a population that represents roughly 13% of the US population and 11% of the Republican Party, I might add, he made under 3% of his appointments were to black folks. He appointed twice as many Asians as he did black folks. What was that?
How about black people?
Black people. The 153 of his appointments in the first 1,019 days, 5 were black. That represents an under 3% appointment rate.
I don't disagree. I think that it's pretty obvious. I appreciate you sharing that, H. Thank you very much for coming in today.
I appreciate you having me.
You got it. All right, Nikki, if you could, I'll be right back.
Y'all are up to some fuck shit today. Jeez Louise. Okay, y'all, because we had to restart, we're not as high as we could be. So if you guys can keep tapping up there, let's get to 500,000 as fast as we can. Also, the little heart mead that's up there is something that joins the team. All it does is it's 1 coin and it just shows engagement to the live and it pushes it out to protect the live. The more we can do that today, the more we need to. Hey, Autumn, how are you? We are going to be live tomorrow with 3 other creators. Fax will show you that afterwards, so we can. So we need to protect everything, so we can do that with you guys tomorrow. Down on the bottom is the little arrow for them. Oh God, words are not working today. No, it's a cringe live. You don't have to be here. Let me explain to you guys. We don't do bots, number 1. We will mute you. We will boot you. If you don't want to be here, you can be an adult and scroll out. There's a finger that God gave you where you can just scroll right out. So there you go. Be a grown up. On the bottom, on the right, there is a share link. You can share it. If you don't have any friends that you want to share it with, you can just push copy link. Copy link also does count as a share. It just pushes it out also. If you want to join the Discord, you do not need to be a member of the subscriber to join the Discord. The link is in his bio and in Gregory's bio. You can get there from there. If it is broken or there's an issue, you can just tag one of the mods and we can help you get in there. Also, for subscribers, we have subscribers only things. And it does look like we have had some requests that I'm going to try for subscribers only tonight to stream The Apprentice movie again.
So again, everybody, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you have to accept the subscriber invite in the Discord. It's the only way that we can do it. So if you are a subscriber to the channel and you want to watch the movie this evening, you've got to accept the subscriber component within Discord.
Are a subscriber and you're in Discord, your name should be purple. As long as your name is purple, you are listed as a subscriber. If it's not, tag one of the mods and we can get proof that you're a subscriber from you and we can do it.
And
I will try to do that tonight for you guys.
Right, and we'll announce more of that before the end of the show today. Thanks, Nikki, for jumping in. I appreciate you.
No problem. Y'all just, y'all keep boosting everything you can. Just tap and everything.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. Everybody, thank you all for being here. Appreciate that. Richard, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you voting? Have you voted already?
I've already voted. I voted for Vice President Harris. I've been on your show before. I'm a lifelong Republican, but I could not vote for Trump based on all the information that I've been receiving during this campaign.
When did you make that decision, Richard? I'm just curious.
To be perfectly honest with you, I made it the last time he ran, simply because I thought he handled the pandemic so horribly.
Yeah.
And it just I just thought it was like it was amateur hour, and I just couldn't get myself to vote for him again. I mean, keep in mind, I lost my brother to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Prior to the election, but so that just for me, I remember I was hanging on his every word during the pandemic, hoping for some information that I would find valuable. And unfortunately, I got none. And it just completely changed my view of him. And so the next time he ran, I wouldn't vote for him again. This time around, I was looking for a reason not to vote for him again. And when he was when he was running against Biden, I was so disappointed because I knew immediately that Biden just wasn't going to be able to run another term. It just couldn't happen. And when she stepped in, when Vice President Harris stepped in, I had some renewed hope. And I listened very closely to both candidates. And unfortunately, Trump ran his entire campaign on hate and division and all the things that are completely against how I feel. And she ran a campaign about unity and how to bring people together. And that's what I wanted to hear. So my choice was very clear. And not only, I have to also say that not only did I vote for her, but I voted Democratic all the way down the line, which I've never done.
Wow.
And I did that specifically because so many Republicans, not all, but the vast majority of the Republicans are backing this guy. And I just can't see that happening again. I can't see this Republican, the way the Republicans are set up in our country now. I just will do whatever I can to change that administration, whatever they are. I want them all out. So I voted Democratic all the way down the line. And by the way, I don't agree with everything that Vice President Harris has said, but I'm sorry.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but when you weigh out both, the choice is so clear, and how anyone can go towards Trump is just beyond me. But I do want to say this very quickly. I have a 36-year-old son. I have two sons. One is 41, the other was 36. My 36-year-old son, I got into a debate with him, not a debate, but a conversation with him yesterday and he's voting for Trump. I just found it so interesting because my son, and not because he's my son, not just because he's my son, he's a very bright, very astute human being. Like, he just knows, and he is voting for Trump, and I just couldn't understand it. And he just, he laid out his reasons, and I listened, and I laid out my reasons, and he listened, and we were able to walk away from the conversation still telling each other that we love each other, and just being okay with that decision. And I think there's for whatever reason, there's such a divide in our country, and everything is so, either left or right. There's no one who is willing to just listen. And I mean that on both sides, not just on the Republican side.
Can we unpack that a little bit though, Richard? Because, I just don't agree with that statement. I mean, do people who believe so I've made it very public on this app, and I am 10 toes down in support of human rights. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing else matters unless we as a society are prioritizing human rights for all, protections under the law for all.
Agreed.
How should I be expected to have a conversation, an open-minded conversation with somebody who supports a man and supports a political ideology that is exactly the opposite of that?
It's very difficult. And I don't listen to the major networks that often anymore, because when you do listen to the major networks, and I'm not going to mention which ones those are, but when you listen to their broadcasts, they are so left and so right. And if you're only listening to Republican networking news networks or Democratic, they're either way. There's nothing. So if that's all you're listening to, I can see how the ideology kind of will wash over you, and you can believe the craziest of things.
Well, that's different though. I mean, we got to stop. So, and I'm not making this, and I know that this has been an evolution for you. So you haven't been necessarily, involved in sort of more liberal ideology, Richard. I'm going to make an assumption here, just because you said you made a conversion just 4 years ago, right? You decided you couldn't vote for Trump in 2020.
Right.
But our country is, first of all, major news networks in our country are not liberal and or conservative. They're by and large owned by conservative corporations. Our center